Former special counsel John Durham will be on Capitol Hill this week, a closed-door meeting with the House Intelligence Committee on Tuesday, then a public hearing with the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday. He'll address his report on the origins of the Trump-Russia probe. Durham claims wrongdoing by the Department of Justice and the FBI, writing, "The department and the FBI failed to uphold their important mission of strict fidelity to the law," but he stopped short of recommending new oversight measures, instead saying the answer is not the creation of new rules, but a renewed fidelity to the old. Joining us now is South Carolina Republican Congressman Russell Fry. He's a member of the House Judiciary and House Oversight Committee. So you will get to question Mr. Durham publicly on Wednesday, correct? What would be your first question?
Well, I think one of the things that the report highlights that I'm very intrigued about are the disparate treatment that you had between then presidential candidate Trump and Hillary Clinton, where you had, with him, it took 2 days on mere speculation, speculation that was so bad that even some of our foreign allies said that this was a pretty thin level of evidence, that was launched in 2 days, but on Hillary Clinton level items, it took months if they were even investigated. So I think that to me is kind of the crux of where we're at, particularly when we talk about weaponization of the government. This is a big concern for people in my district and really all across this country, is that your politics dictate the level of treatment you get with some of our law enforcement agencies at the top, and that's a real big concern of mine.
I want to play for you something that former FBI Director James Comey has to say about the Durham report. He kind of seems to poo-poo the whole thing. Listen.
There's nothing new in his report about the FBI. He thinks it ought to have been a prelim investigation and not a full, and the differences would be boring to your listeners and your viewers. He agrees that the FBI had to examine this and open an investigation. But I think the FBI had to open that Russia investigation. People forget, Republicans, we weren't investigating Donald Trump. We were trying to find out if anybody in his world was working with the Russians, had to do that investigation and did it in a professional way.
But the whole point of the Durham report is that the FBI investigation was not professional.
Yeah, correct. I think, Director Comey needs to remember, that this isn't just Republican versus Democrat. When you have members of our allies across the world that say that this doesn't add up, and they're even questioning why we're launching this when there doesn't seem to be anything but conjecture and innuendo. This is a big problem for the FBI leadership in particular. And Comey's probably worried about his legacy more than anything else. But at the end of the day, this falls at him. This falls on Andrew McCabe, and this falls at senior leadership of the FBI who allowed this to happen for far too long. Tripwires were not acknowledged. Sources were not investigated. This thing from top to bottom really exonerates President Trump and really shows that the Russia collusion hoax that he talks about was really a farce from the very beginning.
Let's talk a little bit about the investigation into the president, perhaps, and his son. Jamie Raskin, the Democrat, top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, is saying that the FBI told him that there is no investigation into the Bidens. Here's what he has to say. He says, at no point during the briefing did the FBI state or suggest in any way that Joe Biden is currently under investigation for bribery. It is deeply concerning that recent public statements are plainly inconsistent with statements made by the FBI in the June 5th, 2023 briefing. Let's get your take on that.
Well, Jamie Raskin has been, really defending the president at every stop, even calling some of these bank records that all we would see is Papa John's receipt and Starbucks. And, really at every front, he's proven to be wrong. So I don't take his views entirely seriously. I do think that the FBI needs to cooperate with Congress and produce information. It really is important to know why they decided to investigate or not investigate. We don't have a lot of clarity on that at this point because I've seen Bill Barr's comments that he sent this off, and if the reason why we can't see the unredacted report is because it's an ongoing investigation, why has it taken years for them to even achieve any measured result one way or the other? So I think it's really important not only that we get to the bottom of the facts, and let the facts dictate our next steps. But we really ask the FBI the questions is, why haven't you investigated this with the level of authority that is needed, given the types of allegations that are contained within that FD 1023?
The Hunter Biden laptop had 10% payment going to the big guy. One of the Burisma executives supposedly said that what money was also going to the big guy. The president was asked about that, and I want you to hear this exchange and then react to it. Listen.
Why did the Ukraine FBI informant file refer you as the big guy? Why is that term continuously applied?
Why did I ask such a dumb question?
It's not a denial, interestingly enough. The president berates the reporter for asking a dumb question, but he doesn't deny anything. That's a little unusual.
No, he doesn't deny it. And I think the easy fix here, of the brave media that have actually dared to ask a legitimate question of this president, he's continued to shut them down. This is pretty simple for Joe Biden. Just release the bank records that you have, even the ones that are maybe hidden. I mean, because what we're seeing from this FD 1023, what we're seeing from the bank records tracks very similar, 10% to the big guy, as you alleged earlier. But the pattern is very similar, where you have foreign entities, foreign nationals dumping money into shell companies that eventually make their way to members of the Biden family. This is a big concern, and you're starting to see evidence in kind of different pockets or different sects that don't really have any collaboration with each other take that same pattern. So I think the president has some answers for the American people, or should have some answers for the American people, and I think the media needs to do their job and start covering this with the zeal that it needs.
Congressman Russell Fry, a member of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committee. It's going to be an interesting week for you on Capitol Hill. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks, John.